Let's jump into lesson 3 of this course where we're going to be going over essential pieces of apps and software you need to have within your AI automation agency in order to ensure a successful operation. We went ahead and chose our top 9 apps here at WebCafe AI that we think are fundamental blocks for your AI automation agency. Let's go ahead and give a brief overview of every single one and why we think it's fundamental. Starting off with probably the most obvious out of all apps here is going to be Zapier. And why we love Zapier is because out of all the automation platforms that we've used, this one has the easiest UI plus the most ability when it comes to API calls. Furthermore, Zapier as a platform is expanding its capabilities when it comes to different things you can do within its backend, such as tables or interfaces. Now, we are aware that interfaces and tables on Zapier's platform is still being developed, but we see huge potential in the future and in our current status quo on our ability to utilize them within AI automations. In addition, there is a lot of resources when it comes to Zapier community forums and Zapier educational videos on how to use the platform and really get a grasp of everything possible when it comes to automation, just as a software in itself. Now, Zapier does integrate with other artificial intelligence platforms, but we see OpenAI as the front runner when it comes to the best type of artificial intelligence you can get access to. Now, what's great about the OpenAI platform is that they associate cost with usage. Therefore, if you use a lot of AI, you'll pay a lot. If you don't use that much, you won't pay that much. But in the context that you're using a lot of OpenAI's AI, that will typically correlate with you doing a lot more deals with other businesses. Therefore, it will cancel out. And when I say a lot, I truly don't mean a lot due to the fact that, when you expenditure tokens, and that's how they kind of equate the system of the cost structure, you're looking at micro pennies for AI usage. What's great about the platform as well is that they are a front runner in the artificial intelligence niche and technology space, which means that when new technology comes out and we have new abilities, you can really expect OpenAI having the ability to have that within their platform as well. I mean, there's a ton of stuff we can do on OpenAI rather than ChatGPT. There is the options for DALL-E, the options for Whisper, and different API calls we can do within the platform itself. Now, this is probably not unique just to AI automation agencies, but the next most powerful tool you want to start leveraging is going to be Google. And more specifically, we suggest using Google Workspace, as Google Workspace is going to allow you to get a couple of things for your business. First, it's going to give you a branded email. So when you send out potential lead forms or lead emails, you'll have the @example.com rather than gmail.com. Next, they give you access to a ton of free software such as Google Drive, Google Docs, Google Excel. I mean, there is a ton of stuff within Google's platform that is free to use. And what's even better is that it all integrates with Zapier perfectly, as we get a lot of access to the API from Google. Personally, what we love about the API connections with Google is the ability to do a lot of stuff when it comes to Google Sheets, rather than dealing with maybe a natively downloaded Excel sheet that's just on your desktop. Due to the fact that Google Sheets is in the cloud, we're really able to access a lot of cool functionality when it comes to AI automation and extracting data. Next app that we really suggest you take control of is going to be Basecamp, and this could be used as your CRM. What's great about Basecamp in the context of dealing client to client is the fact that you really are able to customize the interface that the end client sees. And why that's particularly important in our context is due to the fact that not only are we a new market that's emerging, it's also great to have clear communication with your end client. What you'll notice throughout this course, as we have a whole video dedicated to just Basecamp, is your ability to really structure a project around a client before that client even gets onboarded. This is important, as when a client is finally onboarded to your company, they'll get access to a plethora of information that is readily available for them to read. Now, if you choose to go down the route of Basecamp, I really encourage you to try to find a coupon or contact their customer support team, as they offer really great deals. Us personally, we got in during a Black Friday deal and we were able to get access to Basecamp for free for an entire year. The next piece of software that is important is going to be a cloud document signature software like PandaDoc. This is important as when you grow as a company, you want to make sure that all your legal contracts are condensed and compartmentalized within one platform, because of the fact that you don't want to lose a contract with a company 3 months down the line when they bring up XYZ about maybe your initial statement of work. Furthermore, it's always nice just to have it in multiple areas. So let's say you have a signature within the PandaDocs backend, go ahead and download it, chuck it into one of your Google Drive folders. Always have multiple copies of legal contracts, as sometimes you really do need to go back and look them up again. Following this, you're going to need a really good payment processor. Personally, what we love using here is Stripe, due to the fact that we can do a lot of API calls within their platform. And overall, we really like their customer support team because of the fact that they, respond in a short amount of time and have effective workarounds if you run into issues. Alternatively, if you don't like using Stripe, you can use a payment processor like PayPal. Next, we're going to need a place where clients can go and put in their information to turn them into customers. And a great platform for that would be Webflow. We see Webflow as a powerful website builder due to the fact of their UI designs and mobile optimization. Because AI automation agencies are service-based companies, you're going to want a website that can really back you up in this context and has a lot of capabilities in functionality. And that is why Webflow is such a huge player, due to the fact that when you build out a landing page or a website using the backend of Webflow, not only do we get access to a lot of the API, but also just overall the design process is really easy and it can create really effective sites. Later in this course, we're going to be building out an entire landing page together. We're going to create a one-page website, and you're going to learn everything you need to know about building out your website when it comes to an AI automation agency. Another piece of software that we really like to use here at WebCafe AI is called BannerBear. Think of BannerBear as Canva, but the ability to do API with Canva. So think of it this way. Let's say you have a Instagram post and you want to go ahead and input a certain text into the image, a certain image into the image. That kind of API calls can't really be done with Canva, as you're going to have to manually do it on your computer. Using BannerBear, we're actually able to set up images and videos as API calls, so we can manipulate the text, we can manipulate the image, and do really, really cool stuff. Now, this isn't pertinent for you to have in the beginning of an AI automation agency. What's great about knowing about this is because of the fact that not only can it really bolster your own organic traffic when it comes to social media, you'll be able to really leverage it for potential clients due to the fact of how intuitive it is when it comes to information and data input. Think of it this way. It's like having a social media designer, but as code. Really cool stuff. Lastly, we personally like using the scheduling software Calendarly just because the UI looks amazing. There are other scheduling softwares such as Google Meet and so on. So use whatever you feel is best. We're going to make sure we jump into an in-depth tutorial in this course on the best operations and the best way to approach Calendarly. But for now, that's going to be the last piece of the puzzle here, as Calendarly is going to be the meeting software that gets you in those one-on-one calls with the potential business lead. Perfect. Now you understand all the fundamental pieces of software that you will need for your AI automation agency. Don't worry if you're confused about any of the pieces of software I just talked about in this video, as we're going to be diving into every single one of those in depth in this course, and we're going to learn every single way you should approach it to get the most effective outputs. Without further ado, I'll see you in the next module.